Are there any drugs that don't destroy your brain or body? Everything has a negative effect if you do it too much. You can have too many apples or too much water. The question is what end you're trying to achieve and the dosage required to achieve that. Everything can be bad for you if you do too much, but weed and mushrooms are probably the thing that can negatively affect you the least. The poison is always in the dosage. Taking too much meth can turn you into a super soldier. https://medium.com Exploring Historic Crazy Crystal Meth Adventure of a Finnish Soldier 1 Key 54A 1238F. An 8-ball a day keeps the doctor away, am I right? I see a lot of people on here saying psychedelic mushrooms, and a couple months ago I would have 100 agreed. I was an enthusiastic and experienced shroom user for a decently long time. It did wonders for my mental health, and I found ways to integrate and reap the benefits from great trips as well as ones that were uncomfortable or unpleasant. I even integrated it into my psychotherapy with supportive clinicians. Last month I took a high dose alone, which you shouldn't do, but I thought I would be fine because of my experience and never having a reaction like what was to come, and it caused me to have a seizure and fall and hit my head on my nightstand. I had a brain bleed and was simultaneously tripping balls. I was on my floor alone for 30 hours, screaming and crying and hallucinating, and I believed I was in eternal hell. Tried to hold in my pee during that time, and got a UTI which turned into sepsis. Even in the ICU I had terrifying hallucinations and delusions. Now I have what's called hallucinogenic persistent perception disorder, sometimes referred to as a permanent trip, which for me means I'm still having visual distortions as if the drug never fully left my system. Psychedelics are really fucking powerful. Not always good. I use pot for chronic pain. It's improved my life immensely. I do edibles and don't smoke it. An edible every other weekend isn't going to fuck with your head. You may be one of those rare people who throw up when you have weed, or have a previously undiagnosed mental disorder that is somehow only brought on by taking weed. But you're more likely to be hit by a car on the way to the weed shop. DMT, LSD, psilocybin, and cannabis are pretty low load as far as the body goes. There is a lot of research coming out on how beneficial these actually are for you. That being said, they can be dangerous just like anything else. Moderation is key, IMO. Psychedelic mushrooms. Men, I wish. Honestly, I really want a new drug. One that won't make me sick. A drug that won't make me crash my car or, make me feel 3 feet thick. One that won't hurt my head. One that won't make my mouth too dry or make my eyes too red. One that won't make me nervous wondering what to do. One that makes me feel like I feel when I'm with you, when I'm alone with you. Wait, drugs do what? Edible weed is pretty good for you. Viagra. Like most are saying, there are no drugs that won't have you sacrifice something. Most of us, cannabis or booze is the cheapest or least damaging for use. Medical conditions aside, there are lots of legal ways to get high, but they all lead to worse side effects. If you're looking for a high without drugs, could go for a run. Laughter humor. Weed has no effect on your brain. X200B. What? I believe LSD has minimal effect. From a chart I saw, it is the least addictive and least fatal of the ones on the chart, which included things like nicotine, weed, crack, etc. This does not include things you may do while under the effect. Hide all knives and have a sober person with you if you take anything that changes your reality hard like that. This doesn't answer your question, but small doses of psilocybin mushrooms can actually fix your brain. It's called a heroic dose, and it can kick your brain back to normality from things like depression or PTSD. Those things have a physical effect on the brain. You understand? So the shroom stirring up your brain chemistry somehow fixes it. I'm not a neurologist. Eat onions because they are healthy. Make my hair tick in sync. Stop eating onions because you ate too many and it irritated your bowels. And so it goes. Books are the best mind-altering substance.